Hi, I'm Kelly from North Shore Eye Care. Today I'm sitting with Dr. Stephen Greenberg. He is one of our ophthalmologists and he practices in our Deer Park and our Holbrook office currently. He has been practicing ophthalmology for over 40 years. I'm going to get some information from him and hopefully you'll find it interesting and come in and meet him for an appointment soon. So thank you for sitting down with me. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. So I have a few questions for you, and I did a little bit of research and found some interesting facts about you, which if you don't mind sharing, I would love to hear more about. I understand you served in the United States Public Health Service as a family practitioner caring for Native Americans in Northeast Oklahoma. And you actually delivered babies. 200,
yes,
I think I read?
About 200.
What was that like?
Well, this was my clinical experience right after I finished my internship and before I started my ophthalmic training. And as you noted, I was in Northeast Oklahoma in a small hospital that had a lot of deliveries. So at much of the time I was working solo.
Okay.
And when a baby had to be delivered, I was the doctor, which was rather scary because I had come out of medical school and done about 5 deliveries with help. Okay. And all of a sudden you were thrust into the real world. And yeah, in about the 2 years I was there, I did about 200 deliveries, including twins, a breech or two. It was very scary, but it was an interesting experience. So again, I'm probably one of the few ophthalmologists in the country who, if I had to deliver a baby in a taxi cab, I could still probably do it.
That's amazing. I was going to say there probably are not too many ophthalmologists who could say they've delivered a baby even.
Yeah, probably not.
So, interesting. I also saw that you have spent over 35 years experiences evaluating and treating developmentally challenged patients. You were working with Pilgrim Psychiatric and a couple other places. So that's also very interesting that you...
Yeah, it certainly gives you a different perspective. And aside from any medical situations, which are certainly more challenging because for the most part, that type of patient is a lot more obviously difficult to deal with because of their ability to cooperate or understand.
Communicate, I guess.
Exactly. And, but again, it also makes you appreciate how wonderful it is to have normalcy and to have normal children and normal grandchildren, and that every day is really a gift.
Right, not to be taken for granted.
Exactly.
Amazing, that's great. So I was wondering what made you decide, why you decided to become an ophthalmologist?
Well, it's a very unique specialty in the sense that it gives you the opportunity to deal with people of all ages, including children, if you choose to. It has a surgical component to it, which is fascinating and has changed extraordinarily in my career. In fact, the things that we're capable of doing now, I don't think if I was asked 40 years ago, would this type of technology exist in my professional career, I would say, you got to be out of your mind.
Right.
So the advances have been enormous. There's also a strong medical component to what you do, and also it's one of the few surgical specialties where you have ongoing relations. I've actually done cataracts on parents and children, so you have a very nice ability to establish long relations. In fact, I opened my practice on December 17th, 1973, and one of the 7 patients who was with me that day is still a patient of mine 42 years later.
Fantastic.
So
that's great.
it's a very nice part of the practice of ophthalmology.
That's great. Okay, so I'm wondering what you remember most about some of your past surgeries that you've performed. In particular, if you do remember anything about the first surgery. What stood out?
Being very scared.
Yeah.
In residency training, you sort of work yourself into, say in terms of cataract, you work yourself into doing part of the procedure with another resident who's ahead of you or an attending physician, and then you do more of it, and then one day they said, okay, you're doing the whole thing on your own, and that's pretty scary.
Right,
So,
jumping right in.
Right, and again, just if you look at ophthalmology in general, and especially the surgical component, the ability to restore somebody's vision. I mean, somebody comes in with advanced cataracts and they really can't see, and you can do a 15 or 20 minute procedure and really transform their lives. And you've said I've been doing this for 42 years, and that thrill has never really left me. Every time I can do something like that, it's like the MasterCard commercial. It's priceless.
Oh, that's excellent. If you weren't in medicine, what do you think you would be doing?
You know, it's an interesting question. I have no idea because I came from a family where I had an uncle who was a physician. I had 3 cousins who were older than I, or who were physicians, and it's really the only thing I've ever wanted to do. I mean, I remember being, 6 or 7 years old and saying, I'm going to be a doctor. In fact, when I was 15, I diagnosed my own appendicitis. So it's a good question, but I really don't have an answer for it.
Okay, so yeah, you just never thought of anything else?
Never really thought of anything else.
It's nice that you just knew. Like, some people go their whole life never really knowing, and they're saying when they're 50 and 60, what am I going to be when I grow up? But it's nice, I think, that you just always knew.
As I said, it's the only thing I've ever thought of myself doing.
If you had to say one thing, what do you think you would say is what you like most about your job?
Well, it's a real honor and responsibility to have a profession where you deal with people and you can help them. And you're not sitting in front of a computer and you're not crunching numbers and you're not worrying about spreadsheets or all the other aspects of modern business. And it's just a particularly satisfying situation to be able to sit across from a person and hopefully make a positive change in their lives for them.
Right, so the only thing that's mattering is just getting them well.
Yes.
That's nice. So I know that helping people is a big thing for you, because I also saw that you are an active member and past president of Long Island Helping Hands, which is a charitable organization, it said, to help disadvantaged individuals living in our communities. So
Yes.
What can you tell me about that? That sounds like wonderful work to be doing other than medicine.
It is. This is an organization that was founded, I think, 17 years ago, primarily by my wife, although I got involved very quickly, and several other women in our community.
I didn't know she founded it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And we deal with individuals and families who live on or below the poverty level on Long Island.
Okay.
And we have a social worker, we have referrals from clergy people, social service agencies, and we're a very unique organization in that our primary mission is to protect the dignity of the recipients who are referred to. We have a sponsor, a volunteer sponsor, who's matched with, as I said, a family or an individual. Many of these people are very disenfranchised from their community. They have no friends, they have no family, they're very isolated. And what the sponsor, which again is the volunteer, does is provides the family or the individual at least 4 times a year with a package with household items, food items, clothing items, gift cards they can use in local stores. But what makes us unique is that we do this anonymously, so that we do not know who the people that we are helping are other than their first names. We don't know where they live, and the recipients do not know who the volunteer is other than their first name. But at the same time, while we remain anonymous, we encourage the development of a interpersonal relationship by writing letters. So that what we found very shortly when we started doing this, that in addition to the material support, the recipients were unbelievably appreciative, and that someone that they do not know would take the time and interest to be interested in their lives. And that's the letters that we get from recipients are just amazing. I mean, it's extraordinary. People who have said, I think of suicide daily ever since I've been associated with you. These thoughts don't cross my mind. And right now we're dealing with almost 1,000 people that we're helping on the island.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
That's great. Is there a website that you can share?
Well, the name is now called the Lend a Hand Project.
The Lend a Hand Project. Okay.
Okay?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
And we have an office in Hopog, and as I said, we have an administrator, we have a social worker, and we have a very dedicated board of directors, and as I said, many people who work as sponsors to help these recipients.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. Well, I want to just thank you for your time. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
It was delightful to speak with you.
It was very nice of you. If you would like to meet Dr. Greenberg, you can contact our office. Just call 631-265-8780, and one of our patient support specialists will schedule an appointment either in our Deer Park location or Holbrook location. We hope to hear from you soon, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube for future videos. Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you.